And we are the Coalition, loud and proud, as always, outrage porn-free, civilly disobedient media. We're in the western part of Rhode Island tonight with our good friend Bob Quattrocchi. He is with District 41, correct?
Correct, yes, sir.
And what towns does that encompass?
All of Scituate and part of Western Cranston.
In the vernacular of Rhode Islanders, for those from, I don't know, I can't believe there are actually people who live out of state, but he had his time tonight. It was wildly successful. You had several key members of the Republican House here tonight, including freshly minted Mike Chippendale, now the minority leader of the House. So congratulations on having a fun event. As folks know, we go to a lot of fundraisers, and we're very careful. We don't want to videotape people at the event. They're having a private conversations about personal issues. Our main issue that we want to do is have a quick chat up with the candidate to see what their priorities are for the next year. First of all, how's the campaign going?
It's going excellent.
People resonating with some of the issues that you've raised in the past year?
Unfortunately, yes. Yeah.
What is your priority going into your next term?
Well, something that's not talked about a lot is election integrity, and I'd like to discuss that a little bit and look into that. So
I know there's been a lot of controversy lately, ironically not about the election, but the run-up to the election, the ballot process for people to get on the ballot. Clearly there are administrative issues there that need to be raised. In this past term, the Secretary of State, for the first time in my memory at least, became involved in legislation.
correct.
Do you think that opens up then the Secretary of State to having conversations about, well, literally everything about elections?
Yeah. I mean, it's a slippery slope for sure. These things have never happened before. That where the administrative branch is overstepped its boundaries into the legislative branch like this, and it's for sure it's a slippery slope.
What concerns you the most?
Well, I mean, what's really concerning is the legislation that came out of all this. They've essentially did away with all, they've increased, the ease of mail ballots to begin with, but they've essentially gotten rid of all notoriety. There's no more notary stamps. There's no more signature verifications. And it's all done under the guise of, making it easier to vote for people. But it's also dangerous.
At the same time, you can still ballot harvest, can't you?
Well, ballot harvesting in Rhode Island appears to be legal. So, unlike other states where it's totally illegal. So, there was a lot of floor debate about that. It was brought right out into the open that it's totally legal. Representative Nardone brought it up. He said, "Well, I guess I can just go and gather up loads of ballots and dump them into the ballot box, into the voter boxes that they have, and mail-in boxes." And it was all set out in the open. It's all public record. So it's a slippery slope, and it's scary actually.
What committees are you on currently?
House Finance.
House Finance.
Yep.
Do you think you're going to jump into Judiciary as a result of that, or where do you think your committee focus is going to be?
Well, I mean, that obviously is more to do with leadership, where they feel, we could be best suited. I've been on finance since I've been in the House 6 years now, so I'm going for my fourth term. So I've been there 6 years. I've been on finance the whole time. I've been on small business before, but yeah, I mean, we obviously can make requests, but ultimately it's up to the leadership to place us. We can't just go in and take over the place.
As much as you like. At the end of the term, there was a great deal of controversy about the Second Amendment legislation. And the reason why I bring up the committee process is there are those, quite frankly, from an editorial perspective, myself included, who question whether or not there's any integrity left in the committee process. If in fact you can, through parliamentary techniques, shift a bill into another committee or into the House after it's been rejected by a committee that has worked on this legislation, in some cases for months or years, Is there a future for the committee process? Have they established a dangerous precedent with this type of maneuver?
Right. Well, we talked about dangerous, slippery slopes a little while ago, and this is certainly something that the people don't understand. That there's such rules that they can be, circumvent the committee process. Yeah.
Is anyone going to bring this up? I know I will, as the media, when committees are formed. Do you expect any floor debate or committee debate about this?
Well, maybe when we go into the next session, maybe there will be some discussion about House rules.
Right.
Yep.
And
We do have that opportunity to make proposals on House rules.
What do you think in terms of your?
Not that they'll be accepted, but
No, I know. No, we understand that you're in a minority right now, and the majority tends to rule in Rhode Island with an iron fist. What issues do you think are important as well, in addition to election integrity, to folks in your district? What are they most upset about?
well, of course, everyone's upset about the way the economy is going, gas prices, of course, and inflation. Everybody's dealing with that. It hurts everyone.
You live by northeastern standards, in a very rural area. The price of fuel, particularly for working farms, even the gentlemen's farms, has increased their costs exponentially.
Yep.
The cost of delivery and trucking, because of tolls and fuel prices, has increased their costs exponentially. Is there any immediate measure that the government can take place? I just finish off the question with this point. Folks in the city glamorize farm life. Some of them even call themselves urban farmers.
Right.
Yet at the same time, it appears that it's more difficult than ever for small private farms to exist.
Right.
Is there anything in your mind the state should be doing?
Well, I've felt since I've been involved in this endeavor to become a politician, I guess, a representative, legislator, that the primary thing government could do for people is to get the hell out of their business and get out of business. Their business is not business. Government has overstepped what its purpose was meant to be. So
You'll find no argument editorially here for that, will you? Tell us, engage in a little bit of what we call shameless self-promotion on the coalition. Where can folks find you on the web, and how they can reach out to you, particularly, whether they're in your district or not?
Well, it may be shameful, but I don't have a current website. But I am on Facebook, so anybody can look at me, RI Representative Bob Quattrochi on Facebook, and I post a lot on there, and I have a lot of good videos on there from my past, committee hearings and stuff like that.
So a lot of information there.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely. And I've been, before I was elected, I was involved in going. My wife and I were both involved in going to the State House on a regular basis, and 38 Studios kicked it off, and and a lot of other issues that we eventually became interested in, and that's what got me going to the State House and going to committee hearings and speaking out.
People showing up makes a difference, doesn't it?
Absolutely, sure.
It's always interesting because nowadays in education for years has screamed about disinterested parents. Now they don't seem to be too impressed with the interested parents. And the legislature in this past term had a fairly successful hybrid approach to testimony, where people could call in who weren't able to make a 5 or 6 o'clock because of work or child care considerations. And yet, towards the end, despite the fact that we're still under a state of emergency, they killed that dial-in process. Do you think that was because folks, parents in particular, had really taken advantage of that and were testifying powerfully?
Well, obviously, it's a lot more convenient for people to be able to call in from the comfort of their home. It takes a lot of work to go up to the State House and testify in person. I know firsthand. We would walk we park at not the convention center parking lot or the mall parking lot, and we'd walk up the hill to the State House, my wife and I. Sometimes it was raining, sometimes our umbrellas were inside out from the wind. So it takes a lot of work, and especially if people are seniors or whatever the case may be, handicaps or whatever they may have, it's tough, it's difficult. So it's I could see them wanting to get rid of something that's convenient.
But if people show up to the State House, make sure they come by, say hi to you, right?
Absolutely. Yep. Room 106.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Listen, Representative, thank you so very much. Congratulations on your evening tonight. And I'm sure somehow I just feel that you and I will be seeing each other in the near future again. Just, I'm smart like that. This has been Pat Ford from the Coalition Radio Network. Here we are in the western part of the state because we go everywhere and we show up for everything. Bob Catrocci had a time tonight, very successful, and looking forward to engaging in the political process again. Thanks a lot for joining me tonight.
Thank you.